I realized it must come first every time. Are you trying to build a coaching or an online course creating business? Do you dream of the time and the financial freedom that could come with having your own business? If you're not experiencing the success you expected, and like me, you keep having these pop up pity parties, you might be missing something essential, something that could make the difference between success and struggle. And this something could change everything for you. In this video, I'm going to share my journey of self-discovery and the ease that immediately followed this vital realization that a business and a calling are not the same thing. So the question becomes, do I chase the business or do I answer the calling? So here's what happened. Last week, I rebranded my channel from the whimsical Callie Creates to the more impactful sounding Quiet, Confident Leaders. And I haven't been able to write a good video script since then. I've started 4 or 5 scripts and they show great promise, but none of them have that spark. And even ChatGPT couldn't help me create pearls of wisdom out of my seeds of doubt. You see, the magic was missing. And when I told myself, don't worry about it, just skip this week, no one will notice. And unfortunately, there is a lot of truth to that. After months of focusing on better titles and thumbnails, my views are still pretty low. Very low. Channel growth, it's practically non-existent. And would anyone out there in YouTube land, would they even notice if I skipped a video or 2 or 5? Probably not. But here's what I had forgotten. And let me know in the comments if you've forgotten this too. My YouTube channel isn't a path to a business. My YouTube channel is my path to honoring my calling. And I realized this because of something I had heard years ago, but I'll come back to that in just a minute. So I'm having this roaring pity party. There's chocolate, naps, everything like that is included naturally. And then out of nowhere, I hear this voice. I'm pretty sure that it was my future self, but then again, you never know, right? So this voice, it whispered in my ear. And you know what it said? It said, if you don't publish this week, you're going to notice. And that was my moment of truth. I had to stop and ask myself, am I doing this to build a business, to get clients, to check some box that says I'm doing this the right way? Or am I doing this because I can't not do it? Because this work, this inner drive to help introverts like me step into leadership roles, it keeps sucking me back into the content creating world. And if you've ever felt like giving up, or you've given up and then restarted multiple times, but there's something inside of you that won't let you quit, or if you're not sure if your coaching business or course creating business, if it's actually a business, if it's a hobby, or if it's something more, you might be dealing with a vocation instead. And that's when something Elizabeth Gilbert, remember Eat, Pray, Love, Big Magic, those are her books. She said something years ago about the difference between a hobby, a job, a career, and a vocation. And I'll share her full perspective in just a minute because it cracked something wide open for me this week. But first, let me take you back to what sparked all of this. That moment came when I was sitting in the messy middle of my pity party the other day, wondering why I was even bothering creating these videos. And that's when I remembered that video. At the time, I remember thinking, that is brilliant. It was so simply stated. It was very Elizabeth Gilbert-y. She said, a job is what you do to pay the bills. And there's no shame in that. Jobs keep the lights on. A career is something you invest in, something that you love. It has forward momentum, milestones, and maybe even some recognition or prestige with it. And a hobby, this one made me smile because a hobby is something you do purely for joy. It doesn't need to make money. It doesn't need to be shared with other people. It's just something that makes you feel more alive. The stakes are zero. You're not trying to prove anything or build anything. You're just enjoying being human. And then she talks about a vocation. That's something else entirely. A vocation is a calling, it's a divine invitation. It's the universe whispering in your ear, you. I want you to use your gifts. I want you to make this thing, say this thing, do this work. And the part that really hit me was that no one can give you a vocation and no one can take it away from you. And that idea, that just cracked me wide open. I realized that I've spent the last 20 years calling what I do everything except what it really is. I've called it a business, I've called it a side hustle, a micro business, but most of the time I always called it an expensive hobby because I do have a lot of fun with what I'm doing. And I rarely share it with people, but deep down, I think I've always known what it really is. This isn't something I'm doing because it'll give me time and financial freedom. I don't do it because coaching and creating online courses is a good business model. I do it because I can't not do it. Even when I walk away, even when I tell myself I'm done, I keep getting sucked back into it. Why? Because this work, this is my vocation. It's the work that I came here to do. Not because I have a perfect message, not because I have a huge audience, but because I have something to say and someone out there, even if it's only a few people, they need to hear it. And here's where things might start to feel a little uncomfortable for you, because maybe you're starting to ask yourself the same thing. Am I building a business or am I answering a calling? And maybe it's both. But if you've been struggling to stay motivated, if you've been wondering why your content feels heavy or hollow or hard to create, maybe it's time to stop trying to fit your calling into a business that wasn't built for it. Maybe you're not failing at building a business. Maybe you're just waking up to your vocation. Let me know in the comments, please, if this is stirring anything in you. If it is, stay with me because in just a minute, I'm going to share what happens when I focus on building a business instead of honoring my vocation. So yes, this channel serves my calling because there's something in me that needs to speak, to reflect, to offer something of value, even if only a few people hear it. But whenever I've tried to focus on building a business, something within me dies. Is that overly dramatic? I know that some course creators and some coaches, they want to have a business and they're looking for the best business model that will give them that time and financial freedom, those goals that they desire. They recognize that they have unique skills and coaching is a great fit for them. It's their zone of excellence and it may be even their zone of genius, but they want the business. For more than 20 years, I tried building a coaching business because I thought that's what I should do. But deep down, I never actually wanted a business. In fact, I talk more about it in this video you can check out next. What I wanted was to answer my calling in a way that was meaningful and sustainable. The skills I've learned and the tools I've developed could lead to a business, and I'm open to that. But the calling, my vocation, I realized it must come first every time. Because here's what I think happened to me as I was working on writing a script this week. I had been creating 2 or 3 videos a week. I was happy-go-lucky, I was enjoying the process, I was feeling good about what I was putting out into the world. But I think when I rebranded my channel last week, that action activated a switch on my focus. And it switched it from vocation to business. Of course, I saw the business potential of quiet, confident leaders. I saw a movement. But when it was time to write out a video script, the magic, poof, it was gone. Elizabeth Gilbert said it so beautifully. She said, I needed to put something into the world because I needed to put my handprint on the wall of my life and say that I was here. And I had a commitment to my vocation that said, I will do this for as long as I breathe, regardless of whether anything ever comes of it. Elizabeth Gilbert was able to blend her vocation with her career. And maybe I can blend my vocation with a business too. And that would actually be pretty sweet. Yet the harsh business reality remains. I never developed the one business skill that could have made that happen: marketing. And I don't mean the hyped up, pushy marketing. I mean the skill of communicating my value, of connecting with an audience, of helping people find me so that I can serve them. That's why I like introducing people to the Legacy Builders program. I look at Legacy Builders as a social media marketing internship. It gives people like coaches and online course creators a chance to learn how to attract the right clients and gain some traction in their business. For me, Legacy Builders is low stakes. It's low risk. It's kind of like a hobby. But I see the potential it has to lead to high growth and fulfilling business results too, especially for those people who want to have a business. Now, let me be clear, you don't need to have or want a business to have a vocation. But if your vocation includes building a business, then having support around the marketing side of success is essential. And that's where I can help. In the next part of this video, I'll show you how shifting back into vocation mindset helped me reconnect with ease, with clarity, and with my purpose, even with a tiny channel and low views. So you may be wondering what changed after I had this realization. On the outside, nothing. My channel is still small. My views are still low. My thumbnails didn't suddenly cause a video to go viral overnight. But on the inside, everything shifted. The pressure to prove myself, it lifted. The self-judgment, poof, it evaporated. And my creative energy, it started flowing again. When I remembered, reconnected with the reality that this channel is part of my vocation, part of my calling. It's not just a visibility tool or content strategy. When I realized that, I started breathing again. I stopped trying to validate my role as a quiet, confident leader and returned to just expressing the wisdom that I've dropped into conversations for years. And that, my friend, is a big difference. Because how could I create a great script if I was disconnected from the reason that I was creating it in the first place? I'm not here to chase metrics, even though they are fascinating and very helpful. I'm here to offer insight, encouragement, and permission to anyone who needs to hear that if they feel called to lead, I can help them answer that calling. And from that energy, the ideas came flooding back. The words, they came back. So now I want to ask you, are you building a business or are you answering your unique calling? Because if you're here to build a business, if you're trying to attract more of the right clients, but you feel like your content isn't working, I can help you with that. My free mini guide, Master the Marketing Side of Success, it walks you through the exact steps to start growing an audience, attracting client leads without spending a dime on ads, and in a way that feels energetically sustainable. And if that sounds like something you need, just drop the word success in the comments and I'll get you that link. Skill building matters, and so does staying connected to your purpose. And if you're trying to figure out whether your content is for a business or because you have a calling, and maybe it's both, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Because this space is for people who are quiet, confident leaders or feel that within them, even though it may not be showing up in the world yet. People who don't feel the need to go viral, people who would rather take a conversation deeper, to grow in a way that aligns with your soul, to lead without losing yourself in the process. And if you want to hear more about how I use the Legacy Builders program, like a low-stakes marketing internship, kind of like a hobby, a way to try things out, explore different types of content, and find your voice. Watch the first video in a playlist I created right here. And in it, I share why my perfect lead magnets still didn't work and what finally did.